Fort Okran A, and we'll be alive there. In respect of that, when it comes to questions, we expect that all of us here can just send our questions ahead to a WhatsApp number that is put on the screen, 024 9999 555, 024 9999 555, and you respectfully prefix your question with your name and location. So you say Chris from Cape Coast before you proceed with your question. We would also entreat that your questions are put as concise and brief as possible so that our resource persons can adequately respond to them. As was characterized with the road shows, you know that we have wow moments. And this time again, it promises to be even better. So we would have some mouth-watering packages like 500 Ghana cedis data bank investment account for you. All right? And there are other great souvenirs coming from Data Bank as part of the wow moment. Again, we have what we call EcoBank Mobile App Challenge. And that one, I'm sure that Mr. William Danso Abiam would explain in detail. I will just implore you to stay put and listen with rapt attention so that you don't miss any of it, because it comes with a very juicy, package. You just have to download the EcoBank app. You download it, and that qualifies you to winning some instant prizes, some cash in account, just like that. But I'm sure when Mr. Danso Abiam comes up, he would explain further as to how you're going to do that. We have another fantastic package from First Bank, and it's 1,000 Ghana cedi investment account, plus a whole lot of goodies from First Bank. We also have 2 mobile phones, brand new mobile phones. From MTN, we would have MiFi, we'll have mobile credit, and other fantastic souvenirs. And so if you're here, you just have to ensure that you roll along with us. Listen with rapt attention and participate accordingly. And who knows, you might be the next mobile phone winner for the wow moment. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the Springboard 2018 Roadshow. And in a jiffy, we'll be taking some few messages from our corporate sponsors. And so, as we have them here, I would love to introduce them. From Enterprise Life, we have Mr. Walanyo Idam. Can you please give us a wave? Oh, please clap for him. He's bringing us some good news from Enterprise. And from Data Bank, we have Mr. Kusi Prempe. From First Bank, we have Mr. Joel Ajete. We also have from MTN, Mr. Simon Amoa. Pretty shortly, I'm sure Mr. Danso Abiam will join us, and then they will bring us the messages, the beautiful messages they've got for us today. Once again, let's put our hands together for our corporate sponsors. I am reminding all of us again that our Facebook account is facebook.com/Albert N.E. Okran and facebook.com/Comfort Okran A. Let me be quick to also once again tell us of our sponsors. As we all know, this is brought to us by the kindest courtesy of Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Legacy We have EcoBank, MTN, First Bank Financial Services, Enterprise Life, Personal System Services, and Data Bank. Other partners include Vortex, Yep Cleaning Services, Graphic Communications Group, and Dream Oval. I guess that at this point, we shall take the messages from our corporate sponsors. Respectfully, you all have 3 minutes each. A round of applause for them.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As introduced, I represent Enterprise Life. My name is Walanyo Aidam. I'd like to present to you the country's #1 life insurer and even the country's #1 insurer. We hold 30% market share in the life insurance industry in Ghana. We have 5 fantastic products. But for some of us, we might say, why do I need life insurance? Because for each one of us, tomorrow is not promised. We do not know of the uncertainties of tomorrow, and we need to prepare ourselves to meet such eventualities. We present to you 5 fantastic products with varying features, varying benefits, which gives us an assurance that if tomorrow we experience any risk, an insurer will support us. Our first and foremost is our Family Funeral Solutions Plan. What this does is that it covers the final expenses of life and provides an opportunity whereby you'll be able to offer your loved one a befitting burial. Your father, your mother, it could be your sibling. How will you let them go? How will you say a final goodbye? Our second product we'll offer you is what we call our Lifetime Needs Plan. What this does is to provide you with a means of contributing to an investment fund which can meet your lifetime needs. Needs such as your education, needs such as retirement and old age expenses, needs such as vacation, needs such as getting engaged, getting married, needs such as building a house or owning a car. Our third product we offer you is our educational plan. It is designed to provide benefit payments which are intended to cover educational expenses. If tomorrow, you as the policyholder, you are no more, we as an insurance company will pay the premiums you are supposed to pay on this policy for your beneficiaries to benefit from this fantastic product. Our 2 other plans are quite products which we designed for elderly people. But for some of us, we could tell our parents that, Daddy, you need to protect your income with our Family Income Protection Plan, which gives them cover over death, total permanent disability, critical illnesses such as stroke, heart attack, major organ transplant, heart and lung, kidney, major burns. It also gives them a hospitalization cover up to 1,500 cedis every year. If they spend more than 3 days in the hospital, the insurance company will pay this to supplement their medical expenses. And our final product is our Lady Care Plan, where it is an all-female related product. So basically for the special beings in our world. It offers covers on female-related illnesses, death, total permanent disability. There are some critical illnesses, hospitalization cover, maternity complication. Maternity complications in terms of miscarriage due to accident, ectopic pregnancy, or pre-eclampsia. These are serious conditions and they need to be taken care of. And we offer this to our beautiful women. These are 5 of our products. One message I would like to leave with you. The heaviest burden an old man can carry is an empty wallet. A wallet which cannot pay for even gari and beans. Thank you very much.
Please, a better applause. Let's clap as if we have life in us. Thank you. All right, so the next person to present to us the message from Databank is Mr. Albert Kusiprempe.
Hello. Hello. Welcome to Springboard. It's been an exciting roadshow starting from Tamale to Kumasi, and today we are glad to be part of Cape Coast edition. Databank is glad to be part of this year's edition, and we have exciting products and items for each and every one of you gathered at today's program. At Databank, we believe Databank happens to be Ghana's leading investment firm. We've been around for the last 28 years. And we give you a number of reasons why when choosing investment, you must choose Databank. Number one, Databank is proudly Ghanaian. It's a Ghanaian-owned company formed 28 years ago with some of Ghana's finest entrepreneurs, and they've been able to push the company ahead to this level. Databank offers you choice. We offer you a number of mutual funds ranging from short-term, being M Fund, to long-term, EPAC, AG Fund, to EDI Fund, being an educational fund, and also the Databank Student Investment Account, DSIE. At this year's roadshow, we are offering you EPAC. If you go out there, do your best to register and sign up to EPAC and enjoy the high returns on our long-term product, EPAC. So, for example, you've been given this flyer here. If you had invested 100 Ghana cedis 21 years ago, today you'll be earning 37,405 Ghana cedis. Just to let you know, your little drops of water can grow to become very big for you to do what you want to do with your own money. And as students, I challenge you to take advantage and invest with Databank. You've been given this application form. All you need to do is to fill in your details. What we are doing at today's program is giving everybody at least a minimum of 20 Ghana cedis to start investing. Just invest with 20 Ghana cedis, and we will top up and add additional 20 Ghana. Oh, put your hands together for that. We will top up and add additional 20 Ghana cedis, happening only here at Springboard. Make time. You don't need any other particulars. All you need is to fill the form out and present it during the break time, and my team will be able to assist you take advantage of this opportunity. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the show.
I said, after the delivery, you clap as if there is life in you. Yes. For those of us who are still WhatsApping, you can WhatsApp your friends and loved ones. Tell them the event started. The event of the moment has started. The event that will bring you onto the global stage. And so ask them to join us, and we will all move together. All right. So we take another message from a corporate sponsor, and this time it's from First Bank, Mr. Joel Ajeti. He looks excited already.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you already know, my name is Joel Ajete from First Bank Financial Services. I'm very certain that we all want to be successful in future, or we all want to be rich, or perhaps we are gunning for that master's right after school. But you see, being rich or successful doesn't come by chance. It comes by putting in an effort today. It comes by casting your bread upon the waters. It comes by cultivating the habit of investing today. And it comes by investing with First Bank Financial Services, the investment bank of the year, 2 years running. Now, with an amount of 20 Ghana cedis, you can start an investment that will help shape your dream and actually help you realize it. With an amount of 20 Ghana cedis, you can invest in the best performing money market mutual fund in the country as at now. start an investment with First Bank Financial Services, and you'll be assigned a relationship manager that will help you with all your investment needs just at a phone call. Look no further. Invest with First Bank Financial Services. First Bank, truly first. In fact, our table is out there. I'll be there personally. If you want any advice, if you want any clarification, if you want to sign up, just come and see me, and I'll take care of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ajete. Next will be Mr. Amo. A round of applause from MTN, Mr. Simon Amo. They say everywhere you go. So they are here some.
Thank you very much. You've just preached my sermon for me. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's function. We started in Tamale, we got down to Kumasi. We are here in Cape Coast today. This is not the first time. It's been happening always. I'll just think what I want to say to the theme for the year, leveraging strategy and technology. I wouldn't like to go to the area of strategy. It's a difficult area, quite slippery, but I think technology we present here. You could have an idea, you could have a strategy, but without a technology, how do you put your idea into practice? As we all sit here, each and every one has a small idea. And for me, the biggest tree you find around started in the form of a seed. So if you pick up that seed, someone can pick up a seed, roast that seed, eat it up. Another person can pick that same seed and plant that seed. By planting the seed, I mean introducing the seed to a different environment. You water that seed, you fence that seed, you do everything to that seed to make it grow. So that is what we represent in MTN. Any idea you have, we'll give you the technology to be able to ensure this idea comes to life. That is why our investment in the network, our investment in the technology, that is going to ensure every idea you have in your head comes to life. We define what happens in the telecom sector here in Ghana. We've invested a lot, both in the digital space and the other aspects of the technology. Mobile money is the leading service we are providing here today in Ghana that is going to ensure we keep money away from the eyes of those who want to pick our money illegally from us. The data space is equally there, where we leverage and do a lot more other things. Recharge options are there in the electronic version and physical version for us to almost every time do. So I think I would like to say a big thank you to the organizers of this program, Albert and Comfort. It's been fantastic. When I was listening to him, one of the things he said is that knowledge is the raw material in the knowledge economy. Very important. Go to the Bible. Credence is given to knowledge. That without wisdom, you perish. Without knowledge, you perish. So knowledge is very key for all of us. Let's go for it. Using the technology that is available to us, that is the MTN platform to be able to. A lot more of us are students over here. Let's acquire as much knowledge as we can using the technology that is available to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Amo. All right. Earlier I said that EcoBank has some beautiful app, the EcoBank app. You just have to download it. You see, it's such a fantastic product that you shouldn't miss out on. And so we have the MD, I beg your pardon, the big man himself, who is coming to explain to us on how it works. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. Taraskar. He is the regional head, consumer banking. He's going to explain that app to us.
Hello, good afternoon. A video will show shortly that will walk you through the video will show first. Okay. Super. Then I'll top up. And therefore, there will be an EcoBank agent right here on Cape Coast University campus and also inside Cape Coast Township. So that clip you saw is about changing the paradigm. So none of you will have to walk all the way to the agent, even on campus or in town, to try and open an account, as was the case a few years ago, or as is the case today with most banks that you know about. So today, as long as you have an active mobile number, especially a number that is active on mobile money, as my brother from MTN said, you will be able to download the EcoBank mobile app and open an account for yourself right there and there. No form filling, no signing, nothing. Just follow the prompts as you follow the prompts if you're opening a Facebook account. And you'll be able to open an account for yourself. Now, you'll be able to move money from mobile money into your account and from your account into mobile money as you wish. Also, you'll be able to go to the EcoBank agent that will open up in a couple of weeks. It will be nicely branded so you know it's an EcoBank Express Point, and you'll be able to go there and cash in money. Now, the more powerful thing about this is that now your parents can send you money to your bank account, and you have access to view, to manage, and everything right there on your phone. And you'll be able to cash out at the agent point if you need to, or you'll be able to make payments via mobile money when you need to. Simply, you have your phone number that will be replicated as your account number. So you will never forget your account number. You also have a regular account number at the back end, so you'll be able to share that regular account number with anybody who is trying to send you money from another bank, okay? But anybody who is sending you money from EcoBank using our EcoBank mobile app, all they need is your phone number and you're able to transact. Now, just right now, as we speak, as long as you have a smartphone, just follow the prompts that were put on the screen. Go to the Play Store, whether it's an Apple or whether it's an Android phone. Go to the Play Store and go to the store of each of them and download the EcoBank mobile app. Follow the prompt, open an Express account, and at the end of these sessions that we'll be having, there's also a big surprise for everybody who has their Express account. You'll be shown a WhatsApp detail to send your Express account to, and we'll randomly reward a few people with money that can make you smile on campus. Thank you very much.
Okay. So with Springboard, we are springing onto the global stage. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I would love to let you know again that Springboard Roadshow has this theme for the year: leveraging strategy and technology. Before we take the commercial, we're going to take a commercial shortly, but if you have your phones with you right now, you would want to, I want to see who has the fastest finger. And so I just start 1, 3, 6, 2, 9. I should take my time, eh? Should I start? I shouldn't start. Those in favor of my starting, say aye. Those who are not, say no. So the ayes have it. All right, so it is... All right. Have you opened it? Your keypad. 13629271111. Six 431. Does anyone have it? You have it? Are you sure you have it? 10 cities. Oh, a round of applause for Springboard Foundation. Now it's getting exciting, isn't it? All right. We now take the commercials.
Get ready to move on up with EcoBank. Easy access to your account wherever you are in the world. Get ready to move on up with EcoBank. Easy access to your account wherever you are in the world. More ATMs across Africa than any other bank, so there's always one closer to you. The freedom to pay with a card instead of cash. To bank with your mobile anytime, anywhere. Or send money thousands of miles in a flash. Plus, smart ways to save and invest so your children can move on up too. And trust EcoBank to help with the things that matter most. Visit us online today and move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Mommy right there. Joe, go 4G, Charlie. You can also win.
Yes, you can own a 2-bedroom house, a brand new car, cash prizes, iPhone 8, Samsung Galaxy S8, 4G enabled devices, and airtime. Keep doing the things you love on MTN Superfast 4G and win big. Dial *120# for more details. Go 4G, Charlie.
MTN, everywhere you go.
I am going to be your investment advisor for today.
This is how the money goes and doesn't come back if you just keep spending. If you're not careful, you'll be eating your fufu without soup. So you need Heritage Fund, a long-term investment for your long-term projects, child's education and retirement. Invest in First Fund to provide the best returns and ready cash in times of need. We can help you raise money for your business or even own part of a company.
Don't do this to your money. Top up your investments regularly at our partner banks using post-dated check or cash payment at our offices.
So, do you have any questions?
Investments advice made simple. Even children understand.
To be part of it. When you enter, our ushers will give you something like this. You detach the snack coupon, keep it for your snack, and then you give back the wow moment coupon to the ushers. And that is what we will use for you to win some of these fantastic prizes. We are talking of 500 Ghana Cedi Data Bank investment account, plus a whole lot of souvenirs from Data Bank. We are also talking about EcoBank mobile app challenge. Now, this app is very, very essential. You need to go to your Play Store, download it, and after download it, you follow the instructions. You create an account, and then you take a snapshot of that account, and then you send it to a WhatsApp number that is 024 999955 024 9999555.
Sorry, I want to just put something very simple so that we all get it very clear. When Mr. Squire was speaking, he mentioned that there will be some cash reward for some of us. So what we would like you to do is that go to the Play Store if you are on Android, or if you're on iOS, go to the Apple Store and then download the EcoBank app. It's called the EcoBank mobile app. So when you go there, search for it, EcoBank mobile app. It has the blue icon. Download it, and when you download it, it will automatically install. After you install, go to that app and create an account. Pass some few details from you, your name and other things. So you do that. When you are done, the last screen you will see, which will have your details and your account number, which will be your phone number. Take a screenshot of that and then send it to us through WhatsApp 02499995555. So it's a very simple process. Download and install, create an account using the app, and then when you are done, send a screenshot to us. The first few people who are able to do that successfully, and we authenticate that you have successfully done that, will credit your account. 5 people will get 200 cedis, and the next 5 will get 100 cedis credited to your account. So kindly do that. Download the app, install, create an account, and let's do that. So please go ahead right now. The number to send it to is 02499995555. Thank you very much.
Okay, so here, if your internet is slow, oh, that's okay. Thank you very much. Now, on the same number, 024 999 you will send your questions to our distinguished speakers. You will send them to bank. We equally have other partners helping us, and we are talking of Voltec Mineral Water, Yorks Rent-A-Car, Yep Cleaning Services, Graphic Communications Groups, and Dream Oval. We again entreat that you join the Springboard family. Now, you would do that by just picking up your phone, and I bet that by now, most of us, or every one of us, has finished signing up onto the app. So your phone is free. You dial *950 *50#, and then you select option 2 and follow the on-screen instructions for registration. However, if you don't have your phone with you, you can just take a form like this from our ushers. You fill, after that you give it back to them so that you become part of the Springen family. We are springing to the global stage. Wonderful people, at this point in time, the stage is set for us to receive our speakers, speak to us. Now, when we talk of strategy, we are looking at how can emerging leaders become globally competitive and relevant, and how can they how can they reach their aspirations through effective planning, execution, long-term perspective, and useful relationships. Distinguished people, please help me welcome on stage Mr. Tara Squire, of EcoBank. He is the regional head, consumer banking. Yes, sir. Welcome. Also on technology, new trends and secrets in technology and how individuals can utilize mobile telephony, mobile applications, gadgets, and online resources to develop their career, education, health, finance, time, and personal lives. To help us with that, we have Mr. Nsako, Sales and Distribution Executive, MTN Ghana. And I bet that we all want to be wealthy. And so on the mindset of wealth creation, we are looking at how to become financially independent through planning, budgeting, and investment. Mr. Amenyo Setoji, MD of First Bank, would help us with that. A round of applause for all three of our distinguished speakers today. And we will have Reverend Alberto join them later after their presentation. Now they all have 20 minutes each, and they are going to run their presentations. To start with, Mr. Tara Square.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. As I was introduced, my name is Tara Square. I am responsible for consumer banking for EcoBank across Ghana and Anglophone West Africa. I'll speak to you about strategy today, as keeping in line with the theme of Springboard Roadshow, strategy and technology. Now, my conversation with you when it comes to strategy is not the generic strategic tools or process you find in any book. We are talking about globally competitive leadership. So I'll be focused on a few key steps that you need to take strategically to become a globally competitive leader. Like the gentlemen I have sat behind me who are globally competitive, not just Ghana competitive, okay? So, let me talk a bit about myself. So I have worked with a few companies, Unilever, British American Tobacco, Standard Chartered Bank, Vodafone, Airtel, Tigo, and I'm now with EcoBank. Now I wanted to use this example because I'm going to use especially Eric as an example. Now, would you guess what my background is, what my first degree is? Anybody should hazard a guess. Yes. Say again. Social science. Anyone else? Accounting. Anyone else? Marketing. Now, it's funny. It's funny at the reaction that last one got. He's either listened to Springboard before, or you have a seeing eye. Because yes, I have a degree in history and social sciences. Not accounting, not marketing. Okay? Now, Eric is Sales and Distribution Director for MTN. Would you guess what his background is? Anyone? Huh? Don't say history again because it is not history. Anyone wants to guess? Music and dance. Nice. Nice. Yes. Huh? Psychology. Okay. When I met Eric, he was head of IT. He was head of IT. He had just moved from Heineken, right? Exactly. Now, here he is as the Sales and Distribution Director for MTN. Nothing to do with sales and nothing to do with IT. Now hold on to that thought because I'll come back to it. My first key for all of you is that good planning is half the battle. So if you watch what we are doing here, remember that as I stand here, I have a timer here that is telling me how long my session is and how far I've gone. Right here, I have my presentation so I can refer to it. Okay, we have material that have been prepared for us. We have our microphones well laid out. There's material that has been sent to us before. We had to plan and do our presentations. This room was set up ready. For this show to be successful, it has to be planned to the T. We are live on social media. Without planning, it doesn't matter the brilliance and the expertise of the people you bring here. This show will not be successful. It's the same thing when it comes to becoming a globally competitive leader. Leaders across the world, the first ingredient you need for anything, for success in anything, is planning. And that includes your career. You will not become a globally competitive leader if you don't plan your next steps. So, very simply, for me, the first step is good planning, efficiency in your planning. Now, where I ended is where I take off my next point for becoming a globally competitive leader, and what are the strategic steps you take. The first one I talked about was what? Good planning, right? The second one I'm going to talk about is taking a long-term perspective. All right? A long-term perspective. Now, how many of you are clear in your minds where you'd like to be in 10 years? Anybody, raise your hand if you... Can you share? You want to work in NASA? Super. Anyone else? Lecturer at the University of Michigan. Thank you. Lecturing in what? Mathematics. Super. Yes. A lecturer on UCC campus. Lecturing what? History. Super. A CEO of a registered group of companies. Now, I am very impressed. Remember that this is just 4 out of hundreds of people. Now, I'm not going to ask everybody to share their vision, but this is what I mean by take a long-term. That right out of school, their next immediate step is going to be to work in NASA, or the immediate step is to have a registered group of companies and be a CEO. However, having a long-term perspective helps you to take the steps today that will build up to ensuring that in 10 years' time, you get to where you want to get to. The MD of First Bank will come up and tell you about taking a long-term perspective. And his representative, when he stepped out, talked about, if you want to make it in the future, you need to start now. So the second key in becoming or building globally competitive leadership is always have a vision, always take a long-term perspective, and don't worry about the different steps you will take. Okay? Don't worry about that. As long as you are focused on the fact that this is where I want to get to in this time, and be as specific and be bold about it. There's a gentleman who said, I like to work with NASA. I'm sure for some of you, really, but it's not impossible. Okay? Reverend has assured me that by the end of this year, Springboard will be the biggest open university in Africa. And I firmly believe in it. I firmly believe in it. You know why? Can you guess the number of lives that Springboard will be impacting by the end of this year through physical interaction and online interaction? Can you guess? Anyone? 1,000. Nice. Anyone else? Guess, be bold, yes. 1 million, yes. Anyone else? 50 million. 15. God bless you. God bless you. See, Reverend, where will we be by the end of this year? See, did you hear that? In just the last couple of weeks, we are touching 1 million people online and 10,000 people physically. Now, do you know of any open university that is bigger than this? Laying it out like you see here, and everything working to perfection. Starting on time, exactly where we said it will start, when we said it will start. So learning to execute is very, very important. Every single coach of a football club in the world lays out a plan, shares it with the team. A brilliant plan. You don't get to be at the top in that game and not present a serious plan to your team. You know who wins on the day? The one whose team executes to perfection that plan. That is the best. That is the better team, or that's the best team. You don't get to be called best because you have great ideas. You get to be called best because you execute effectively. You must learn to lead. And again, I'll use a football example. Sometimes you hear people talk about certain teams. Who supports Arsenal here? Sorry, Reverend, not you. No, you don't have to respond. You support Arsenal. Learning to lead is the next step after learning to execute. Because no plan is flawless. No execution is flawless. I am sure in putting together this program, the team that are working on this would have faced issues, would have had problems. But it takes leadership. It takes somebody who says, I will deal with this, to get up and take responsibility and make it happen. Okay? So, on the field of play, when you are 3-0 down by halftime, it takes leadership. It takes somebody on the field to say, we will not lose this game. To whip the kind of enthusiasm and motivation to drive forward and to achieve your objectives. So, globally competitive leaders, they lead from the front. They take responsibility. When you hide, you are not safe. I can assure you, when you hide, you are not safe. I remember when I was in school, there were people who will easily raise their hand when somebody needs somebody to take up a job. Raise their hand when there's a question that needs to be answered. Raise their hand and people used to say, this guy cries, this guy, what are you looking for in the world? We had that funny English phrase, we say, oh, you're too known. All right? Please, don't ever be caught in that trap. Lead from the front. Accept responsibility. Let people talk about you. Because if you do not accept responsibility, you are not learning to lead, and you are not taking a leadership role. However, there is no way Mr. Eric Nsako would deliver on the sales agenda of MTN. I nearly said EcoBank. Of MTN, if he doesn't have a team, if he doesn't build the right relationships with people in technology, people in legal, there is no way anybody plans, executes, leads properly if they don't build the right relationships. I'm talking about right relationships. You need relationships that help you to build to your goal. To become globally competitive, you cannot be an island. So, I've spoken about learning to plan, learning to execute, learning to lead, and building the right relationships. The last thing I'm going to talk about before I wrap up is where I had started from. That education and experience are no longer enough. So the fact that you have a degree in BCom is not enough. The fact that you've worked for 10 years in an organization or in a particular field of expertise is not enough. Innovation, professionalism, doing things differently and doing it the right way. Nobody stands out by being part of the crowd. Nobody. Intelligence. Knowing that you can correct Tara by calling him to the side and advising him that what he did, what he spoke about was not right and next time he should change it. And knowing that for Eric, you can back at him in public and tell him that what you're doing is wrong. That slight difference, that knowing how to pull at the heartstrings of the person you are dealing with is important. Emotional intelligence. And read about it, because you begin to realize that the people who can add 1 + 1 and get 2. Okay? Cultural awareness. To be globally competitive, it means that you need to be able to work anywhere in the world without fear. Yesterday, I saw pictures of some former colleagues in Vodafone. They had gone to visit the chief technology officer for Vodafone, who is Indian. And yesterday was some form of Indian holiday or some practice culturally. And the entire top team had gone to visit her, and she had gone through the motions of celebrating the day with them. They have some colored chalk, they paint their faces, they make good wishes to each other. Now, it seems like a very simple thing or a party or something, but what it does for that person is that she becomes accepted in an environment she's alien to. She's Indian, she's working in Ghana. What it does for her ability to go to work and deliver and be comfortable about her circumstances. But the reverse is true. Her ability to come here in Ghana and probably show up at work in a fabric that is Ghanaian and show that she's comfortable with the Ghanaian culture will also be a determining factor in her being able to forge ahead and be globally competitive. Blue sky thinking is very similar to innovation. When everybody is going this way and thinking at this level, you need to do something different. So sometimes people say in Ghana, once somebody gets an idea and starts making money from it, the whole Ghana troops towards it. But it is that person who saw that idea and decided to be different and do something different. That person captures the market, wins, and moves on. So you can read about blue sky thinking too. Okay. But remember that to be globally competitive, your education and your experience will no longer be important. You can have 10 years experience in farming in Ghana. You will not be able to go over to Japan and win there if you cannot bring things into play. Cultural awareness, emotional intelligence, storytelling. It seems like a very silly thing, but you'd realize that everybody who comes here to speak will be able to tell you a story. All of you remember that you sit at the feet of your parents, your grandparents, or you watch programs where people are telling you a story and you are captivated. Now, those stories, you never forget about them. So when you are able to tell a story, people will never forget about what you tell them. So to be globally competitive, don't just depend on your education and your experience. Add some of these keys. To be competitive globally, you must be able to compare your competence level with everybody in the world. Stop making Ghana your horizon. if you want to become a caterer, the way to be globally competitive is to pitch yourself against the world's best caterers. And today you are fortunate. When you go onto your phones, you go onto Instagram, you find the world's best cooks. You go to YouTube, who have channels and are sharing free of charge how they do their thing in their kitchen. There are people in Ghana who have learned how to be makeup artists by just being on YouTube and learning from the best in the world. So in whatever field of endeavor you are in, make sure that your competence level is at the global stage, not at the Ghana stage. Accepting your local level is accepting mediocrity. That does not make you globally competitive. Okay? So, what was the first thing I said? Planning. Brilliant. What was the second thing I said? Say again? Long-term perspective. What was the third thing I talked about? Huh? What was the fourth thing I said? And global competitiveness requires global competence. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon. And it's always, I start by saying, a pleasure to return to Springboard. It's a great program, and it's produced a lot of great and motivated minds and lives. So my name is Eric Nsakon, as was said in the introductions, and today I want to talk to you about a few trends in technology. The reason I start with Steve Jobs is that technology involves personalities. It involves leadership, it involves mentoring, it involves organizations, and to make use of it, today we all enjoy our mobile phones. Some of you are on mobile financial services, you have smartphones. It's just to inspire the fact that technology is also part of life. So when we talk about Google or Amazon or MTN or Vodafone or any organization that is bringing you digital infrastructure, digital solutions, it's because it's part of life. When I talk about transactions, episodes, and strategy, I don't want to create a lot of confusion. That's not the intention at all. But at a simple level, I just want to say, sometimes you use technology to send a text message. That's a transaction. You are doing a basic communication. But sometimes also you bring Yenko taxis to your campus to become a new way of getting around. And people begin to talk about an era, an episode. But when you get into strategy, then it can change the National Development Plan, because we have taken a new look at technology and the opportunities. And I think it's important that we look at it from that perspective, that it can be everyday routines, but it can also, and please, I saw the Michigan mathematics lecturer on the other side, and I knew that he will have, can you show me your hand again? I knew that he would have a certain perspective on what we discussed, which might be more scientific. But I'm very happy that Tara went before me, and he mentioned the fact that in every culture, in every endeavor, in every life engagement, we are talking about how to mirror strategy, and it's the same for technology. So innovation, the possibility to look at existing routines and see a new dimension that can benefit users and thinkers. The importance of this is that you apply this in whatever you do. The routine way of looking at sports, when I was a child, there was a footballer called Mohamed Polo, and there was the hype about Polo was that he was a dribbling magician. He could dribble from one pole to the other. Football has changed. It's become more physical. There are more systems. There are more plans. And people are not necessarily trained to be the dribbling magician as we like to see at that time. So innovation is a new way of looking at things, getting more results. And maybe the debate will be out forever. Was Pelé a bigger star than Maradona, and was Maradona bigger than Messi? But the resolution is always that each played according to their era. You cannot necessarily compare. So nowadays, there's a talk of disruption. And it's important that we talk about disruption in terms of, you see, today the biggest libraries in the world, they still remain, the Library of Congress of the United States is still a formidable repository of everything that has ever been published. But when you are looking for a book, you normally go to Amazon or perhaps to Google Books or whatever. So there has been a disruption. Something has taken place which involved looking at the world differently, challenging certain laws of the world, and deciding sometimes people who are engaged in disruption sometimes could end up in prison because you are actually confronting the old order and restoring the new. But if you do not, you sometimes also are able to celebrate a new way of thinking, like Amazon. Jeff Bezos is now, the founder of Amazon, is now the richest man in the world. I remember in the late 90s, there were a lot of questions about whether Amazon will ever make money. It's just like the questions being asked about Uber today. People say it's a subsidy, it's this, it's that, it's that. But this morning on my way, when I reached Winneba, my 16-year-old daughter called me to say my 9-year-old daughter is late for a school assignment and is late for a school program and what. And I said, well, you are 16, catch Uber. She called me later, she said, I've gone and come. I've dropped my sister. Life was not that simple before, but people confronted an old order and restored a new. So it's important that we look at disruption, not as an objective on its own, but that as we develop courage, mettle, knowledge, ability to confront old ways of doing things, we can actually reason our way through them. And that's why I'm talking about the cross-functional. Last year, I spoke a lot about cross-functional. I actually last year had to ask people in the room that if you are a history student, tell me your friend who's doing pharmacy, or let's see how you are networking in school. Today, I will not do that. Okay. So I also talk about branding in a technology discussion, and it may seem awkward, but when you finally develop an idea, you have to package it. I met a young man recently who, interestingly, in a separate engagement with Google for my regular day job, when I mentioned what venture that young man is pursuing, the Google people were so interested that we should set up a conference call so that they engage the young man in Ghana from their office in Kenya and see how they can support. But the next thing they asked was, what's his website? And I sent them a WhatsApp with a link, because from now on, he's going to be known by his brand. And if you go to that website, sometimes the brand is the things you did not intend. If you go and it's crashing, or the colors are clashing, or it's messy, and so on and so forth, it informs the next engagement. They might or might not take a person serious based on that. So yes, we hear all the radical things about startups always in garages and so on and so forth. But please, your image is very important. And the brand has to be positioned to capture the technology so that investment can come into the technology to take it to the to the next level. So that's key. The fact that engagement is a mobile phone, you know, how can we utilize this better? And today, frankly, if I call Chief Technical Officer in the morning and I ask him the capacity, maybe next week when I call, it might be different because it's expanding in huge multiples of the giga-tera ranges. I don't know what the number is anymore. Because for us, for example, in MTN, data, according to our various revenue lines, has become the biggest. It doesn't mean that the majority is from data. I'm saying when you rank them all, data is the highest. But it's all the space of 10 years, and a lot has changed. And it's around people, because once people started to change to this data, you immediately need to ask yourself, what devices do they need? Then you have to get into the question of who brings in these devices. Are you going to be are you going to be both telco and importer, or are you going to collaborate with the importers? Once you start to collaborate on the distribution side, you also ask yourself, who are you collaborating with? Is it only the Samsung and Huawei and the rest, or are you going to find out the addresses of Freddy's Corner and Ben's phones and Ajiman phones, and also make sure that they are happy? And it is a lot around technology. But when you get the adoption right, what you've created is a powerful weapon, not a weapon, but a powerful resource in the hands of people. Because now you can finish your program here and sit down as a group and say, look, all these millions of smartphones in Ghana, what can we do as a team to take advantage of the distribution that they offer? Somebody will program an app that carries a powerful idea. I just told you about the guy that Google is interested in. But there are a lot of people doing a lot of interesting things in agriculture, in health, in culture, in travel, and you have a better chance. Now the cycles are shorter. It's the generations of technology are now getting towards about 5 years. So you look at children who are 5 years apart, and they have a different mastery of technology. Yesterday I got, again, a bit frustrated because I was using a laptop and I didn't know that it had also touch screen, and I'm doing work with a child, and then I click, and then the child also hits the screen. And we are thinking differently, because I'm saying, why didn't you use the mouse? And say, why didn't you use the screen? And so basically, the cycles are shorter, because now things have changed, basically. And that information is with you, it's not with me. So when you create, maybe we work on the mobile financial services, we work on the smartphone platforms, we work on everything that is needed, but you put the idea on it, and then that becomes a powerful trigger for the economy. So on the technology adoption front, you see that I've spoken more about the adoption than the trends, because yes, the trends are towards video, towards instant services like Uber, and towards social media, towards e-commerce, towards, I mean, in China, they talk about the big companies now as Tencent, JD, Alibaba, and I think there's a fourth one. And then the US also talks about the big four as Google, Facebook, Apple, and what's the fourth one? There's a fourth one that I'll remember soon. But once you look at those areas where the world's billionaires are being created, you see that those are the trends that are also following through to Ghana. And once you look at what pertains in our context, it is a question of where you get the best adoption, whether you create a new platform, like you have Yenko taxis, you have Uber. Yenko is a Ghanaian creation. You have Trotro Tractor, and you have Uber. You could set yourself up on either, but somebody has taken a new dimension of the innovation and made it local so that it can work. In the same way, you have the Kumawood app, and you probably have Netflix. The content is different, but you have to decide based on the ecosystem you are in, whether you are going local or you are adopting the platform that is being used out there. The important thing about that decision is that it feeds the rest of the decisions, because you're then going to do the distribution to the various parties, especially people like yourselves, students, and so on. And I just want to make sure that we are talking about, we're talking to an audience that knows that everybody has a role to play in this digital economy. Today on Facebook, a philosophy lecturer in Legon started a thread about driverless cars. And what was being discussed in the whole thread, I found it interesting, was not the technology. It's a question of, for example, today, when you are driving, you make a decision whether in the event of an accident, you are going to hit an adult or a child. It's a very terrible decision to make, but you have to make it if you are faced with that. You cannot program that. It should never be left to a machine to decide things like that. But as technology matures, it also begins to find that equilibrium between how humans come in, how the machine comes in. So these things are there. They are important for study by those in the humanities, those in the social sciences. Last year, I remember at Springboard, I said, when I think about mobile financial services, I still think about the sociologists like Nukunya and the rest who wrote about money many years ago. And you see that what we are doing is exactly according to what is said about the society, that there are trading corridors in Ghana, there are big markets, that's where people collect, that's where people gather. And I expect a history student, a sociology student, to be interested in all of that, and then to ask at the end of the day that if we want to program an app around the thoughts that I have, how does the Michigan lecturer marshal his resources and his science teams to come and handle that bit of it and then get the full adoption? In a sense, I think we have covered the broad themes. So now that I have 3 minutes, let me just ask one social science student what their view on technology is. Please, no computer science person. Okay, is there a question? But is there any other? He's an economist. Is there an accountant? Okay, no problem. I think that cross-functional theme around the thoughts of the trends in technology is all that we wanted to establish. That just as other societies have opened their doors, have opened industries, have opened sectors, and been able to achieve so much, we would also have to do the same through yourselves. And unfortunately, what has been done already is not useless. In this case, that's why I started by talking about disruption as well as the gradual adoption, because you don't necessarily have to reinvent everything. It's also possible when we talk about unemployment, for example, a lot of the communities where the urban unemployed thrive, like let's say Nima in Accra, there's a lot of sports talent. Nothing has ever stopped us from collaborating to put that talent in video that will be distributed over smartphones, that will be monetized by financial services, finally provide an income for all parties in the chain. That method of thinking laterally through the problem is all we ask you to try to achieve in your stay on campus and beyond. So I wish you all well and a successful Springboard.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I will be talking on wealth creation, and I'm going to take you through a 3-credit course that you're supposed to take in a semester, but we'll do it in the next 20 minutes. So I need all your attention here. It's Wealth Creation 101. My name is Amenyo Setoji. I'm the Managing Director of First Bank Financial Services. Yes, let me take you through the outline. I'll speak about what wealth creation is all about, financial planning and budgeting, investment, and then I'll conclude. Now, what is definition of wealth? I want to ask all of you here, if somebody can help me, what is your definition of wealth? By hand. Yes, gentlemen.
Each discipline has a way of defining their wealth.
Yes.
So allow me to come from the economics background.
Please go ahead.
We refer to wealth as anything that brings satisfaction to a human being.
Okay.
If I was set an example, basket man, his wealth is the ability to make people laugh and make money out of it. So that is his wealth. And those laughing, because he has created a particular product for them, they are laughing and it's making wealth out of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we give him a round of applause? Yes, wealth to somebody, it's about gold or money in the bank. And to somebody, it's having houses all over Cape Coast here, beautiful houses. That is somebody's definition of wealth. To somebody, it's about having money. I mean, dollars in the bank account. And to somebody, it's about how to fly to have your vacation. Somebody wants to go to Acapulco Bay, Bermuda. Somebody wants to go to the United States. That's your definition of wealth. To somebody, it's having beautiful cars at a BMW, Mercedes-Benz, as you can see on the slide. That is somebody's definition of wealth. But you can't fault anybody if your definition of wealth is, as he just said, or it's about cars. What it means basically is that everybody has his own definition of wealth. To me, my definition of wealth will be different from your definition of wealth. What happens is this, that your definition of wealth is influenced by where you are, where you're coming from, which family you're coming from, which school you've attended, what stage you are at in your life. That influences your definition of wealth. Now, what it means to us is that let's not be fixated when it comes to definition of wealth. Don't be caught up in somebody's definition of wealth. What it means to that person may be different from yours. So just have your own personal definition of wealth. Define what wealth means to you and how to plan for it. The bottom line in all this is this, that you want to have what? Financial independence. Financial independence simply means that if I feel like buying a car, I do it without struggle. If I feel like buying a house, I do it without struggle. But you don't wish this to happen. You plan your way into all this. And that's what we are going to do now. What is financial planning and what is budgeting? In summary, financial planning has to do with what? You identify a goal. What do I want to do? What I want to do will cost me money. If it costs me money, do I have what it takes to do that? So what do? You look at what you have, what you don't have, or what you own, what you owe. You find a difference of that, or what the difference of that would inform as to how much you need to raise in order to achieve what you have to do. But what that means also is the fact that you have to develop a plan. You go ahead of that. When you set up a goal, your goal must be what? Smart. For example, you want to buy a plot of land in 2 years' time. Perhaps you've done your research and you know that today a plot of land is costing for how much? It's costing about 5,500. In 2 years' time, it will be about 8,000. What it means then is that you have to plan for the next 24 months in order to buy that plot of land. You have 24 months, and it translates into how much? 333 cedis today, as in monthly savings that you have to do for 24 months in order to buy a plot of land. Now, if you are if you are investing with a financial institution such as First Bank, you may not even need to save 333 cedis in order to get 8,000 in 2 years' time. What I mean by that is that interest would have covered the difference. In other words, you may have to save how much? Just 250 for 24 months, plus interest, you'll be able to get 8,000. Now, your goal is smart. Why? Because it's specific. You want to do what? Buy what? A plot of land. It's measurable because you know the value of the land, which is 8,000. It's achievable because you may be earning about 1,000. You just have to put aside about 33%, and you'll be able to do your savings. It's relevant because you and I need a shelter, isn't it? So planning to buy a house is nothing way off. And it's time bound because it's within 24-month period. Now, what is key for us is this, that when you set up a goal, it's important you categorize your goals into three sectors. One, you must have your short-term goal, you must have your medium-term goal, you must have your long-term goal. What it means in effect is this, that it defines the way you set your priorities. If you look at the next slide, having set up your short-term goal, having set your medium-term goal, and having set your long-term goal, you are able to list your income and your expenses. Now, what most of us do all the time is what? We mix our needs and our wants. When you have that, what that means is that you are always all over the place. Now, having set up your goal, you are able to differentiate between your needs. You are able to differentiate between your needs and your wants. There's a habit most of us have, which we call the inflation lifestyle. That is to say that when you are earning 1,000 Ghana cedi today, next year, when they increase your salary to say 2,000, your lifestyle changes. For instance, you have a watch that is doing well for you. All of a sudden, because your salary is increased to about 2,000, what do? You say, this time around, I need about 2 extra watches. One for outing, the other one, that would be meant for work. The other one that I just wear when I'm at home. But the other 2 watches that you bought, it's absolute waste of money. You don't need 2 extra watches. You understand? So what do? The extra watches that you purchased, that amount could have been saved. That will yield you, give you interest. Now, what we all need to do when it comes to wealth creation is this, that there's a need for all of us to create funds. Funds are saying you have your emergency fund, you have a fund called retirement fund, you have a fund you call education fund. What that says is that you have specific fund for specific objective. Now, if you have an emergency fund, what it means that if you have anything that comes up all of a sudden, the only fund that you can attach, the only funds that you can use to satisfy that is your emergency fund. You are not going towards your retirement fund. You are not going towards your education fund because they are all for specific objective. One key thing that we all have to take note of in wealth creation is discipline. Discipline is what will tell you that you have to wake up at dawn 5 o'clock to study. It's discipline that will tell you that you don't feel like staying at home to learn. You have to go out and have fun. But discipline will tell you that, you know what, you have exams ahead of you, so you have to sit at home and learn. And that is the same principle that applies in wealth creation. Discipline organizes you. Discipline means that you get focus. Discipline means that you eliminate all the distraction in your life. One other thing you need to take note of is budgeting as a lifestyle. Anything you want to do in life, you need to budget for. Anything. What it does is this, that you are able to know how much you are earning, how much expenses you have to incur, and so much so that you are not taking unawares. If you don't budget in your life, what happens is that at the end of the month, it doesn't matter how much you earn, you will always run into trouble because you are just buying. You are just buying. You can't even know what is a want, what is a need. There's this quotation that strikes me that says, you will never get financially independent or free by your earnings alone. Let your money work for you. All that it says is that whatever you earn today, if you don't put some aside, asking to earn interest for you, that you can depend on in the future, everything that comes, you spend all. It will get to a point where you have nothing to spend. Somebody says, if you spend all your earnings as you earn, you are just 1 month away from poverty. Because the month that you don't earn anything, it means you have nothing to fall on. Now, I'll take you through some investment tips that are key for all of us. The first one is starting early. You are so lucky that at this point in your life, at this age, you are being told what to do when it comes to investment. When you start early, the better for you. When you look at the slide, the gentleman started at the age of 21. By the age of 30, he would have made about 38,000. And if he decides not to invest any further, by the age of 40, he will be making about 277,911.58. Now, the one who started at the age of 31, at the age of 40, how much will he be earning? He will be having about 38,236. That tells you that when you start early, the better for you. It enhances your wealth-making ability. The other issue that I would want to talk about is about setting clear-cut goals. I spoke about that already, which has to do with the fact that you need your goals to be segregated into your short-term, medium, and long-term. Investment goals is also like that. Now, there's something you need to do. You need to be curious. You need to do your research into what financial information is all about. You need to understand when they say bonds, what does it mean? When they say mutual fund, what does it mean? When they talk about stocks, what does it mean? You have to be curious. You have to study all that yourself. And when you're doing your investment, because you are well informed as to what stocks are, as to what bonds are, when you are investing, you know, when you, let's say for instance, you invested in first fund or mutual fund, when you are giving a report and they are telling you that 20% is into stocks, 30% is into what? Bonds, you tend to appreciate that report. You tend to appreciate that information. But if you're not well informed, they give you a report, you don't know what you're reading. One key thing that is good for all of us, that must be done, is what we call developing a wealth growth pattern. Wealth growth pattern means that if you started investing this year and you do 100 cedis every month, what it means is that next year, when you have improvement in your salary, inch that up. Let's say you are investing 150 next year. Next year, you are talking about 200. Don't be stuck to 100 cedis all the time, because there's a need for you to do what? Grow your wealth. And this is something that is non-negotiable. Consistency. Look at the chart in front of you, the slide in front of you. Let's say you have two gentlemen from my village. One is called what? Consistent. The other is called inconsistent. Now look at the flow. The consistent investor was consistent as far as 100 cedis investment is concerned all through the year. And the gentleman called inconsistent, he started in January, February. By March, he got tired and said, what is this business of investment? I'm not going to invest again. And he stopped. And then somehow he woke up and said, you know what? April, I'm going to invest again. He did that in May, and then he went to sleep again. June, July, August, he did not invest. At the end of the year, you can see the difference. What the consistent investor made, almost 1,338, the gentleman just made how? How much? Just half of it. So there's the need for us to be consistent and be focused when we're doing our investment. And this has to do with earning your earning power. How do you boost your earning power? It's about working on your CV, working on your ability to what? Improve your CV, ability to improve yourself. If you're a first degree holder and what you earn, you are not comfortable, work towards furthering your education. It could be going for your master's. It could be going for a professional exam. That will what? Enhance your competence level. But in all this, when you are investing and you can't sleep, then you are no more doing investment. You are no more doing wealth creation. You are rather gambling with your life. Because investment doesn't mean that you should lose sleep. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to sleep. It should mean that what it means is that there's a balance between your wealth creation and your life. In other words, a little fun doesn't hurt, right? Or is it a case that you get rid of fun in your life and then go ahead investing? No. There must be a balance. So much so that you can be consistent in your investment growth pattern. And be curious. Ask questions. Don't stay in your closet. Don't stay in your corner and not invest. Be consistent, ask questions, and you'll be educated. Knowledge acquisition has to do with asking questions. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is that we finished our investment 101. I'm going to give you an assignment. I want you all to invest now. Invest with which institution? First Bank. Because next year, God's willing, when we meet here, I'm going to mark the script. And when I'm marking, everybody has a marking scheme, a special marking scheme. So I will advise you now that.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for 3 resource persons. I have learned so much from them, and at this point, I'm going to kindly ask that you, if you haven't done so already, send your questions via WhatsApp to 024 9999555. Send your questions so we can interact over the next 25 minutes or so. Get some answers from our resource persons. How many are learning something new today? Wow, that's powerful. Let's put our hands together for ourselves. Just to show that I've learned a few new things, let me sum up a couple of thoughts I picked from the resource persons. Eric, the point you made about the guy designing something and Google showing interest was the biggest thing that caught my attention from your presentation, because it tells me that when you do things right at the very highest level, you will come to somebody's attention, and that could be a game changer for you, and I found that very helpful. Tara you spoke quite a bit about strategy, and the part you said the good planning is only half the battle, and execution is really the big deal, caught my attention. And then, of course, the point you made about the fact that the course you do doesn't matter. How many know somebody who is doing a course and the person is not happy with the course they are doing and they keep complaining about the course? You know somebody like that? It could be yourself, but pretend that it's somebody else. Just say, you know somebody. How many know somebody like that? The course they give you or the course they give the person, you are not happy at all. Let me see. So you will find out from Tara largely and to some extent from Eric that it doesn't matter the course you start with, it's what you do with it. Amenyo in his presentation encouraged us to start early. He talked about discipline, he talked about balance, and he ended by saying ask questions. So I'll take his last point, ask questions. So we'll take the questions that are coming in now and see how many answers we can get from our resource persons. So let me start with a question from right here in the hall, and it's from Wazi Amwa. Wazi is asking Tara, you said to concentrate on your locality is mediocrity. If my aim is to be the president of Ghana, am I mediocre? Explain. So, Tara, explain whether his objective of being president of Ghana will be considered local and therefore mediocre.
Absolutely not. I think the point about be globally competent doesn't mean your job definitely should span the globe. But the president of Ghana shouldn't aim to be the best president Ghana has ever seen. The president of Ghana should aim to be one of the best presidents in the world. That is what my point was.
Thank you. So let me go to Eric and a question from Festus Enu. Festus is asking from right here in the hall, is technology a branch of human knowledge that deals with creation and intercreation or interrelation with life, society, and environment? Would you call that a definition of technology?
Well, that's a biblical technology question. But technology is life. It's to the largest extent possible, only relevant when it is enhancing your ability to have a better life and in synergy with your aspirations for a better life. So we leave it there, but the specific of the technical terms that he's mentioned, I cannot delve into, but I think for transportation, for health, for every sector, technology is supposed to support a better life.
Right. Let me go to Harriet, also from right here in the hall. I think the questions are flowing from the hall. Harriet wants to know from Amenyo, is it safe to venture into networking businesses? I presume she means network marketing. And she mentions a number of companies. Out of deference for them, I will not mention their names. But Harriet is asking, do you think it is safe to venture into network marketing?
Yes, it is. Again, you need to, as somebody who is interested in network marketing, you need to do a lot of research and be sure it's a reputable institution you are working with. Be sure that you trust in the products that they have. And that's what should motivate you into going into network marketing. There's nothing wrong with network marketing. Just be sure that you are working with a safe, reputable entity.
Are you saying that changing from one to another will not work? You said work with the same reputable entity. So I was asking whether changing safe. Oh, okay. I thought you said the same.
No.
Right. So let me go to Eric and Sako. You mentioned that in the space of 10 years, people change. Therefore, you need to change the business model based on the changing tastes of the market. At what rate does technology change to match some of these changes that you are talking about?
Well, bear in mind that in politics, they say a week is a long time. I think it's almost the same in technology. Every patent can change the game. So here in Ghana, again, we have to defer to names of specific organizations, but if you look at the last few decades in Ghana, there have been strong technology companies that started from shipping computers, they faded away, then doing specific programs like payroll and so on, they faded away, then doing the internet as a service, they faded away, then the telco era, and so that's what I mean, that there are so many cycles in technology, and every patent can change it. A patent is obviously a new idea that has legal protection, and every time that something like that happens, society might change. And of course, the needs of the society also dictate what research goes into patents. So it's quite a short cycle compared to other sectors.
Right. Let me go to Tara and a question from Bright. Bright says he has an account already. Would you recommend that he opens another, and why? How can he fund the two since he is not working at the moment? And this is Bright asking you a difficult question.
The first part is easier. I think it's very simple. When you download the mobile app, it actually gives you the option to onboard onto the app using an existing account. It will ask you for your card details or internet banking details. And if you have any difficulties, we have a stand right out there, and we have representatives all around you that can help you actually to link your existing account to the mobile app. So you do not necessarily have to open an Express account. The Express account is just like a quick account. You are starting your journey in banking. You do not need to go through the hassle as a young person in school to go to a bank branch, fill a form. As long as you are mobile money ready, you should be able to have a basic bank account that enables you to do all the transactions a regular bank account would enable you to do. So the first part of the question is easy. In terms of funding it, I have come to realize, and I'm sure Eric will bear me out, that the people... That point wasn't going to be made. The people who spend the most are not necessarily the people who earn the most. And you see it a lot in telecommunications. So the person, whoever asked that question, obviously has some source of income. And it either goes into their mobile money wallet or comes as cash. And you've heard tips today that tells you can invest with as little as 20 Ghana cedis. So you've got money in your mobile money wallet that was sent to you. Open a bank account or link your existing bank account to move some money from your mobile money wallet. Don't spend all your allowance. Put a bit in the bank account. Okay. Take a bit of the money you give to me at EcoBank and also start some investment, either in First Bank or with EcoBank itself. Okay. So yes, you've got sources of income. Use it.
Fantastic. So if you have questions, just send them once again to 02499995555. If you are outside Ghana, you can prefix the number with +233. And if you are in the hall, just indicate. So far, how many questions have we answered from inside the hall? Let me see those who asked the questions by hand. Right, I can see you there. All right, so let me go to Amenyo, and the question that keeps coming up in every city that we go to. Nate is asking, Mr. Sister, you talked about investment. There is a new trend in investment called cryptocurrency, which I think Bitcoin is leading. So how safe is it to invest in such platforms? That is Nati asking.
That's right. I knew this question will come today.
It's an exam question that always comes.
Yes. Cryptocurrency, as we all know, is a digital currency. And they use encryption technologies to generate more units and also to monitor transfer and all that. And the number one now is the Bitcoin. Currently in Ghana, it's not yet legalized. So I would advise that until BOG legalizes it, let's stay clear of cryptocurrencies now. So that's what I would say. But it's worthy of note to state that it's an emerging area that I'm sure is just a matter of time to take over our industry. And it's only those who are prepared, knowledge-wise, who take advantage of that. So do as much research as possible into cryptocurrency.
I think the word is research, so that you don't blame anyone else because they did it. Do it because you are informed and ready. Let me go to Aaron, who is asking, this is a difficult question, Eric. Aaron is asking you, how do I create an app so that I can help farmers sell their foodstuffs to the public?
A place like Bimbila, and you see the amount of yam at a certain point that you can get for 10 cedis. The most efficient app will be the one that is also integrated to the physical economy, to the point where once I say, I want this, it's actually cost of production that I'm getting. So it is just that farm gate price plus transportation to me, and then I pick it up. I've always said that if you look at the convenience that it gives, people who have to go to the market at a weekend, if somebody had aggregated all of this, taken their orders and even given them 4 or 5 days notice and brought it from the farm gate, from the best and most efficient chain possible. So the app is a basic app that we have. There are quite a number of platforms now you can go to, and thegreenbasket.com, there are quite a number of them that you can do these things on. The question, though, is the integration to the physical economy, because for as long as the pricing is not competitive, the app does not scale. People will take it as something that is for the elite alone, and it has to cater to both needs. So your challenge is not so much the programming. Your challenge is the collaboration with the physical economy to get the best deal out and to get adoption that can scale.
The word is adoption of your technology. Let me come back to Amenyo. And Ernest from Cape Coast is asking what should motivate him to invest. And he says, is the bank the only way to invest? If not, what other ventures can he invest in?
Well, when we talk about wealth creation broadly, it's not just about investing into financial instrument. It can also be that starting a new business. It can also be that starting a small business that you can build on. But if you're a student and you want an easier way to start with, in any case, if you want to start a company, you must have some stock of cash before you can start. So the first point of call is to start with investing with a financial institution. I always say a reputable financial institution, First Bank being one of them. And you don't need to be earning millions of cedis to start investing. You can start with as low as 20 Ghana cedis and build it up over time. And when you have an idea that is that has economic audience, that is bankable, that is sellable, then you have some money that you can begin with and start with that business.
Fantastic. So the investment can actually also be capital, that's a business. All right. Elolo Agbeke from Brewer. Elolo is involved ostensibly in some vocational training. And so it's a direct question to Eric Nsako. In terms of technology deployment, how can MTN help a vocational training institute to integrate ICT into their teaching and school administration?
Well, there are various programs that, for example, from the student point of view, the MTN Apps Challenge started traveling around the country a few months ago. So the first point of call is for students of that institution to be involved in creating ideas that can be part of that challenge and that become a certain wave of technology. But the other thing is that the institutions themselves would have to be digital. The sources of knowledge for all the subjects that are offered today, I'm sure lots of the students are using Kindle apps. You can get free downloads of many books. You can get samples that can at least tell you what has been written. Some books, the samples are bigger than others. But, you see, I don't want to create the impression that we are promoting a mockery of academic standards, but you look way more intelligent when you have many references in your projects. And through samples, you can get a lot of references. You can sit down with a Kindle one day and go through a lot of works for your project that you can take excerpts from and make a very good impression on your professor. I mean, these things must be done so that you can pass well and go on with your lives. So for vocational institutes and for all of them, I feel being digital, getting online, how MTN can help is MTN has a lot of products and services that will cater to the specifics of what they require at that time, because there's past examination papers online, there's digital learning that you can access through subscription, and then there's the open internet that can be facilitated, but it depends on the specifics of that organization. So maybe when they specify, there's a stand outside also, and there will be an enterprise person close by who can go more into the specifics.
Let me go to Tara and throw in a question about having worked with a number of different organizations. There is one school of thought that says, like Steven Gerrard, play with one club from beginning to end, and then you will, as a result of loyalty to one club, become captain, have a great career. Another school of thought says, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, change clubs a number of times, and just by the changes and transfer fees, your value will rise. Both schools are very, very definite that it's the best way forward. What would be your personal notion or personal opinion on this issue?
I think I'll try, and then I'll pass it on to Eric to also support me. You see, when I spoke about being a globally competitive leader, I talked about having a long-term perspective. Here, and everybody here has spoken about goals and what you want to achieve for yourself. The example of Steven Gerrard was used. Steven Gerrard never won the English Premier League title. Now, if that was an objective that was pressing for Steven Gerrard, I would expect that he would have made the change that would enable him to be able to achieve that objective. Now, if his only objective was to play with a club like Liverpool and win the Champions League, satisfy a certain emotional need, then he's in the right place, he's made the right choice. So you should never judge a career path in itself for its sake. You must judge it from the perspective of the vision or the objective the person had. As long as the person is achieving that vision or objective, I have no issues with whichever path you take. So that is where my expertise ends. Eric has a lot of expertise when it comes to this particular question.
Well, I mean, I think though that Tara has said it all. I mean, it's a very personal decision how you move. I remember Patrick Vieira, when he was a footballer, was interviewed once on a move, I think, out of AC Milan. And during the transfer window, they were saying, look, the window is running out and you have not said anything. And he said, this might be the last change in my career. Nobody should rush me. It's a very personal decision, and it works for some, it does not work for others. And I think, yes, who is the greater coach, Pep or Sir Alex Ferguson? I mean, you will never really be able to resolve these things. It depends on how you make it work. It might go back to Tara's earlier point that execution is what matters. Once you have each platform, what do you do with it? And the one that you have, if you have to preserve, so how will you leverage it? So it's very personal, I think.
Right. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for our resource persons. I'm coming to the final round of questions in What Do You Know? Just so that those of you who have not put your Wow Moment coupons in the basket can put them in, because right after this round of questions, I'm going to give away a brand new phone to somebody. Who needs a brand new phone? Let's see who will win that phone. I'm also going to give out an investment account right away after this. So let me start with Ruby from Cape Coast, who wants Amenyo to answer. How can I boost my earning power as a student who is not working?
Yeah, it depends on your personal ambition too as well. Maybe you are a first degree student. What do you want to become? If, let's say, you are doing accounting, you want to become an accountant, you are looking at working with an audit firm because that's where you get a lot of experience. But that does not end there. You have to work towards doing a professional course as in ACC or ICA Ghana. So a lot depends on you. What do you want to do? What do you intend becoming in the future? And then you look at your career path along the training, the professions that you have to take up in order to enhance your competence level. And that will help you to attract the best of companies, global companies that you can work with and get the best of returns.
Thank you very much. Let me come to Tara and I'll end with Eric and Sakun. Tara, Danny right here in the auditorium is asking, is it advisable to borrow from the bank and invest in investment opportunities? I like the questions you're asking. You're asking questions that you really want to know the answers to, I presume. So, would you advise it?
I think at the end of the day, it has to come back to figures. Now, if you find an investment opportunity that is yielding more than the rate at which you are borrowing from the bank, by all means, go ahead. And, I mean, Mr. Menyo is speaking about different investment tools, and it doesn't have to be cash alone. So same principle applies. If you're going to borrow from a bank, make sure that the returns of the business you are going into are over and above the rate at which you are borrowing. So it all comes back to the math. Now, it is very, very difficult today to find an investment product, financial power, to do that leveraging very well and make money from it. So I would say go with the pure investment. Invest as little as you can, you know, and you would be amazed. Some of the tables that Mr. Amenyo shared, if you just take it on for yourself. Have a long-term view to your life. Don't be thinking about how can I buy a Mercedes next year. It pushes you to do things you don't have to do. I can promise you that everybody sitting here has been doing this for a very long time. A very long time. Some people here have been doing this for as long as you have lived. So make no mistakes about it. Don't think that there's a shortcut in life. Don't fall into that trap. If I had started obeying the principles that has been shared by Mr. Amenyo here when I was your age, I probably will retire now. Easily. So have a long-term view to your life. Start now. You know, start now. It's small, but start now.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for Tara Square for that answer. Final question, and then we'll go for our wow moment, and we'll go for the break, and I'll give it to Eric and Saku from Chris Kelix. Chris is saying how important, this is outside technology, but it's still worth asking you, being a top executive in a large firm like MTN, how important are CV and school results, since everything we need to make success in our careers are clearly dependent on what we are and so on. So how, from your judgment, how important is CV and the results you get from the university?
I think let's get one thing right. If I take myself, yes, I started as an engineer, IT, etc., and then branching. But I don't think I've ever learned anything that has not been useful for me in the future. Because you don't know what cases life is going to throw at you. And in all of them, you are going to have to differentiate yourself. You are going to have to do something that is beyond the norm. So please, whatever you are learning in school, make sure you take every opportunity that you have to master all the concepts, all the theory around it. Make sure you are grounded, because one day it's going to make a difference. Perhaps not to be that you studied this program and you are practicing 100% of your career in this program. But I'll give you an example. I was working for KPMG in the late 90s. And one day, my boss called me into a conference call where they were assessing an investment in manufacturing. KPMG does not recruit manufacturing engineers, or did not in those days. I don't know about now. But that day, I think we formed a special bond because for the 30 minutes that we spoke about quality control, he made a very good decision on the outcome of that assessment. For that reason alone, if I say I've branched from chemical engineering, perhaps that episode alone means that it became a big advantage to my future career. So please learn everything that you can. The CV, I spoke about branding. The CV is your professional brand. So please research it. Don't just download a template and post anything you like to any line and then start submitting it around. Many people might never give you a call because of that document alone. So there are things, you have to be creative around showcasing your competencies. And you have to give some thought to it, you have to get some mentoring around it, you have to research it, and make sure that it is profiling you in a way that makes people want to see you again and again and again. So please take the CV also as a very serious reflection of who you are and your brand.
Thank you very much. I think that we've had a wonderful colloquium. There's a reason why the colloquium is my favorite part of this program. Help me appreciate Tara Square, Eric Nsakun, and Amenyo Setoji as they go back to their seats. Let's put our hands together for them. The size of your applause can determine the size of the wow moment that is coming up next. When we come back from the break, I'm going to be giving 10 people money in their accounts from EcoBank. Imagine starting a bank account or opening a bank account today and having money right away placed in the account, and the account is on your phone, an express account you can activate instantaneously and at once. To do that, go to the Play Store or the Apple Store or the whatever store, and then download the EcoBank mobile app right now. When you get the notification that after downloading, go into the app and open an account. When you get notification that the account is open, take a screenshot and send it to us at the same number, 024-9999-555. And 10 people will get money in your accounts right now. 10 people, yes. Let me quickly introduce some books to you that you can read around to broaden your knowledge on the subjects that were shared, because no matter how many questions we answer, just when we are ending, more questions come pouring in. Questions about risk, questions about investing overseas, questions about forming business partnerships. We couldn't answer all of them, but the resource persons will be available at the end of the program to interact with you so you can ask some more questions. Let me mention that we have this book here called 5 Talent Mentality. It's highly recommended because your talent is one thing that will take you to the global stage. In addition to your CV and your degree, your talent is one of the biggest about how to turn your life around and move from the back to the front or from the bottom to the top. If you think there's great promise on your life, but it's not happening, Zafnat Panya will help you know how to transform your life from the prison to the palace. The 5th and 6th book are on investment. My first lessons in investment, and then also Go and Owe No More, how to achieve financial independence, 10 principles to help you. The final book is called Shiba. It's just about how one customer, one person can change your whole business, and how to spot that person when you meet them and how to relate to them. You can go to the stand outside, and for any 2 books that you get, you will get 1. So go to the stand and get some books. Let me give away a few gifts now. When I come back from the break, I will do the EcoBank mobile app. But let me give out now a 500 Ghana cedi investment voucher from Databank. Bring me the entire Databank package. What do you qualify? What do you do to qualify? Just by being here, you are right here. But at the global convocation next week, you can actually sit in Cape Coast and win an award or win a wow moment. Mr. Kusi Prempe, come and stir the thing. Famous Albert Kusi Prempe. He's a powerful man. All right. So it's a 500 cedi investment voucher from Databank plus pens, face towel, calendar, notepad, and the wall clock. All right. Are you satisfied? Are you satisfied? All right. At the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. No, you got 2 votes. Double voting. All right, so one more time. 1, 2, and 3. And the winner is male. It's a male. And your name is? Your name is what? Ofori. No, it's not you. The winner is Emmanuel. Emmanuel. Hey. What happened? Emmanuel what? There's only one Emmanuel here. How many Emmanuels are here? The winner has a number that ends with 6. You are Emmanuel. Please come for your prize. Your telephone number ends with 6 and you are Emmanuel. There's only one here, so come for your prize. Clap for him as he comes. Or just clap, don't worry. Congratulations, sir. You've won 500 Ghana cedis. You've won a clock. You've won a face towel. Pardon? Pardon? What? Oh. You are sports, his guy. Okay, climb up stage. One of them has won. Please, nobody else should come. Don't come and sport. Are you also called Emmanuel? We have an overflow space. Oh. All right. So the hall is full and we have adjoining halls and people in them. So they are coming from the adjoining halls and they are all. Are you all called Emmanuel? You are all called Emmanuel. Please face the audience. Are you also called Emmanuel? Or you have photographer? All right. So I have 4 Emmanuels. One of them is the winner. Please tell your surname. Let me stand in the middle. Surname. Oh, face the audience. Surname.
Nyame.
Nyame. That's a powerful name. I mean, God is here. Surname.
Haja.
Nyame Haza. Surname.
Asante.
Asante. Surname.
Bolonyo Emmanuel.
Bolonyo. Gotojo. Is it left or right? How many think is left? Oh. 42. How many think is right? 81. How many think it's me? All of you. All right. The answer is on my right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is it Nyami or Haza? Pardon? Why? Do you have a gift of clairvoyance? Is it Emmanuel Nyami or Emmanuel Haza? How many think it's Nyami? Wow, 400. How many think it's Haza? 700. All right. The winner of the Databank investment of 500 Ghana cedis, the clock, all the gifts there is Emmanuel Maxwell Haza. Charlie, you try. You know, let me give you a book. I mean, you came so close. Let me give you my first lessons in investment. If you cannot win the investment, at least read about how to invest and you will invest. All right, Emmanuel Haza. Look, you know something? Just so I can be sure it is you, give me the last 3 digits before the 6.
000.
It is 000. You've won the prize. Come on. Receive your prize from Data Bank. Let's put our hands together for Emmanuel Hadza. All right. I feel like giving out a brand new phone from MTN, a brand new mobile phone. Who needs a phone? You know what? Cape Coast is the most exciting audience in Springboard. I say it officially. So just give me that one big Cape Coast shout and I'll give you a phone. All right. So I have a brand new phone from MTN and I want to give it out now. Now. Are you ready? Wonderful. Are you ready? At the count of 5, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first winner was a male, so by the principle of who said balance? You said balance. You talked about balance. And so the winner is a female. All right. All the ladies who, if you don't need a phone, please put your hands down. All the ladies who honestly need a brand new phone, let me see by hand. So how do I determine this one? If you are a lady here and your mobile phone number ends with 4, let me see your hand. 4. What for? What for? 24. Oh, what for? 94. 34. Which one? Pardon? Hey, everybody says 04. 74. 84. 64. Oh, you need a phone. I tell you what, let me make your work easier. The winner of the phone, brand new from MTN, is 34. Come for it. Come for it. Where is Ijovia? Where is Ijovia? Somebody from MTN to come and present this. Come and present it. You know, because I'm a pastor, I know how to do this one. In the book of, which book is that? Is it Kings? They said, if 2 women want a phone and you can't tell the owner, divide the phone into 3. Somebody will take the case. All right, so tell me your names. Let me see if one. I hold the phone. The phone plus a yellow T-shirt. Charlie, do you need the phone more than her? Rosemond. You say you need the phone more than her. Hey, but do you know how strong he is? Why do you think you want the phone?
Because I don't have.
Hey, this is difficult. Rosemond says, what's your first name? Scotia. Oh, Scotia is my friend. All right. Rosemond says she needs the phone more than Scotia. Scotia says she needs a phone because she doesn't have a phone. And your name is? Esther. Esther, why should the phone come to you?
My phone is spoiled.
Hey! I need it more. I have no phone. My phone is spoiled. Who is? This will be powerful. You know what? Let me give a book. Let me give you a book. You know what? Let me make everybody happy. This one is easy. All of you have won. Zafna Panya for you. Mentoring for success for you. And Shiba for you. Is it Zafna Panya, mentoring for success, or Shiba? Hey, why you brought fans with you or what? All right. Thank you very much. It's not you. God bless you. It's between mentoring for success and Shiba. Which is which? All those of you shouting Shiba, when you go out, go and buy Shiba. Is it Rosemont or Scotia? Scotia has no phone. Rosemont needs it more than Scotia. Is it Rosemont or Scotia? Send him.
Yeboah.
Send him.
Kwanzaa.
Is it Yeboah or Kwanzaa? Kwanzaa. How many think it's Kwanzaa? 800. How many think it's Yeboah? The winner of the brand new phone from MTN after lots of parliamentary deliberation is Rosemont Yeboah. Scotia, you came very close. All right, so Rosemont gets, please applaud for her. She gets to win a phone, a brand new phone from MTN. Wow. When I come back from the break, 10 people will be smiling because the beautiful thing about having EcoBank put money on your account is that you open the account on your phone right here, an account is created for you, and then by the time you finish having refreshment and come back, all of a sudden you have 200 Ghana cedis on the account, which you can, amen. Amen. In fact, I agree with you, you receive it. We're going to go on the break right now for 30 minutes. At 5 minutes to 4, I will give out a MiFi. At 5 minutes to 4, what time is it now? 2:25. At 5 minutes to 3, I will give out a MiFi. A MiFi helps you get a 4G high-speed internet connection to be able to achieve all your career and academic aspirations. So when we come back from the break, I'm going to give out a MiFi and then give out 10 express accounts from EcoBank with money on the accounts, and then you will get the second one. All right, so let's come back at 5 minutes to 3 o'clock. For those who go to the book stand and get the books, will be available here to autograph them for you during the break. See you. Refreshment is served outside. Just go outside, help yourselves. Visit the various sponsor stands, MTN stand, EcoBank stand, Enterprise stand, First Bank stand, and Data Bank stand. And right after the break, come back. Blessings.